Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I am Sunique. Thank you so much for being here. Today I've got the latest editions of the Total Tarot Magazine Partworks, which arrived today the 26th, and it's come torn. So I am just hoping that nothing has fallen out here in transit, but let's open it and see. So I filmed that, and then when I played it back, there was such a bad distortion hum on it. I thought, oh, this is dreadful. So I'm attempting to do it again. I've bought some more accessories, and hopefully this will work. And I'm doing it on a different phone, so we shall see. Anyway, I think as far as I got, or as far as I can put without driving everybody crazy with the noise, is opening the package. It came open at the bottom, but everything seems to be there, so that's cool. There's the included in there is the After Tarot, which is this deck here. The two magazines, part 38 and part 39. The next two cards in our Golden Art Nouveau Tarot, which are these 10s, which are absolutely beautiful. So yeah, this Golden Art Nouveau is beautiful, isn't it? So blingy. So in the last two issues we had the 9s, so now we have these two 10s, the 1s and the cups. And then in the next mailing we'll have the final two 10s, so then we've just really got the court cards to go. And we'll have the full set. So we're nearly there. That's great. The blingy box. In the blingy bag. So gorgeous. I do have the small version of this, but I just like this because it's, you know, it's so big. Anyway, that's that. So we have, as I said, the magazines and the tarot deck. And what I've done, I'll keep the original footage and show that, is I've put it side by side with the Before Tarot, with the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, and then this one next to it. So I've just done a little walkthrough of that, so I will put that up and see you afterwards. So that's a little side-by-side comparison between the three decks, and it's really quite interesting, isn't it? I just want to have a look at a few cards from it and just make a few comments. The one that stuck out to me most would be the Four of Pentacles, this card here. I think it's a very unambiguous message, as in, well, you don't see a suitcase on the top of a hearse, do you? What's the point in holding on to all your resources and not sharing them? Because when you're gone, you can't take them with you, can you? And I think that's the dark cloud above, or the shadow of that image, really, is quite profound, quite stunning. And there's some very humorous ones as well. There's one, which one was it? This one. I don't understand why. There's a little person here with the Page of Pentacles. Doesn't really make sense to me. If there's music in the background, I'm really, really sorry. My neighbour's outside. Anyway, there's nothing I can do about that, so bear with. And yeah, there's obviously a Taurus ball here for the King of Pentacles. That sort of makes sense. And what could happen if you fell off a cliff? So yeah, some of them haven't changed awfully, but I don't know, what do you think? I mean, this one is quite telling, isn't it? This is Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit of knowledge here, with Eve giving Adam the apple so they can actually have the knowledge, but forbidden knowledge, and then our angel here with the sword who's just about to expel them from the Garden of Eden. So that really does tie in with the story, doesn't it? And here our Chariot looks to me like he's got a mobile phone, or she. It's an androgynous figure, I think, but yeah. Is that a mobile phone there? And of course the Sphinxes are no longer lying down, so we're on the move now. And we've completely tamed our inner wild nature here and come to terms with it and love ourselves, for all of us. We're back to having the wand as a snake, as we did in the before tarot. And this is interesting, the Black Wolf. Because the black wolf is usually associated with depression. So that's an interesting take there. So shining a light into the dark corners of our psyche, maybe. So there's some very interesting takes. I mean, justice is the same for kings and beggars. Is there anything else I want to say? I think this is funny. I do think this is funny. This figure here. That is so funny. Love it. And obviously our lovers from the Lovers card have given in to their desires, their carnal lust in that. So yeah, I mean, there's some I'm not overly keen on. We're back to actually the solar twins on the sun, which we don't see in the other decks. This is an old iconography of the solar twins, so we actually see that. And we're actually sharing our vision here now with somebody else. So that's nice. But yeah, I like the fact that we see after the squabbles and the different points of view that we've come to some sort of harmony here. So that's a nice rendition. The victory wreath off of the wand here is now being given to this young lady here. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. There's a few cards that puzzle me. Why is there another person here come to join our wounded soldier? That makes perfect sense. Trying to carry too much. This one is another one that actually puzzles me, because the Page of Wands elementally I wouldn't actually associate with autumn, but that seems to be a sort of an autumn scene where we're bringing in the harvest there. I don't know, that one sort of puzzled me a little bit. Some of them don't seem to have changed very much. This one I'm not sure if she's upset or if it's just an embrace. I don't know. That one doesn't seem to have changed very much. They just got a bit further along in their revelries. So here we're pouring our emotions into the earth, and maybe something can grow from that. This one, you can see in the background, that person there drowning in their emotions. That's very telling, isn't it? And the dark clouds above. And here we've made our choice. And so we've limited ourselves with a snake. The other choices now are no longer open to us. This one's quite interesting. There's blood and... is it sweat and blood? Or is it water and blood? That's spilled out of these cups here. Has this person left this person behind? I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't think there's anything else that I want to... I don't like this, because I always think this card is about being in two minds and trying to make a decision. But this decision's been taken away from the person sitting down and being decided by two other people, which is, unless it's, you know, deciding between these two people who her heart will be going to, but it's a sword suit, so I don't know. This one doesn't look much different to the original, in my opinion. This one, interesting. Is this boatman going to bring all of the swords over? So is this person going to bring all of their problems with them and not leave any on the boat, or they're going to leave a couple on the boat and just take some of their worries with them, some of their mental concerns? That one's quite funny, isn't it? Heading into a trap. Don't like this one very much, I'm going to be honest, because I think that's again, with these cards, I think the power is being taken away from the individual and given to somebody else to help them. You know, they're helpless, they can't help themselves, where I would say that this person is not helpless. I really like this one, where we're actually slaying our demons, or our nightmares, facing them head on. I like that one. So I think, and that one puzzles me. Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah. Okay, so those are my thoughts anyway on this tarot deck. What are yours? What do you think? Is it a natural progression from the normal imagery, or would you think about it in a different sort of context? Yeah, I think we all have our own views on these things. Okay, so now I'll take a little look at the magazines. So let's start with 38, and we have the Magician here from that Before Tarot. Got the lilies and the roses. You've got a beautiful little dove here. So it sort of reminds me of a magician that is, you know, on stage, doing the tricks on stage for the public. We've got some motifs here as well. So we sort of have a bird, mountains maybe. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Let's put that out of the way. Okay, so what have we got? We've got a contents page to start with. Then we're looking at elemental dignities 1, so there's going to be another part to this, presumably. So this technique uses the elements, so that'll be earth, air, fire, water, to help us assess the strength and weakness of a card in a spread. So there's an expansion pack to the Spacious Tarot that talks about that. This is it here, actually. I did do a video on this, and it goes through the elements. It also goes through the sun signs as well, through the astrological signs, and depicts them in these cards. So, let's have a look. There we go. Water, fire, air, and earth, and how to use those alongside the tarot deck. So I would presume that's the same sort of thing that's going on here. I'll link the video I did with this, because I actually did a few exercises with it to illustrate what the point of it was. But yeah, it's a really interesting way to actually use the tarot, you know, in a different way, using it elementally. Earth, air, fire, water. So I presume that's what this is. It's also about numbers as well, so strong numbers. So the aces are the purest element, purest essence of the suit, is what that's saying. Fertile earth, brightest fire, purest water, cleanest air. So here we have elements and their associated tarot cards. So each card in a tarot deck is linked to one of the 4 elements: fire, water, air or earth. And this is the major associations. Now just have a look at this and it confuses me, because I assigned the Hanged Man to water, not air, for instance. And this is the Golden Dawn associations. So Judgment would be fire, so what have they got Judgment for? Air, okay. Hangman, water, and again they've got it as air. The Fool is air. I actually don't see the Fool there at all. It says because it transcends all elements. Okay, and the World is earth. The world which incorporates them all. So the Fool and the world, they're not associating them to elements at all. Now that is really, really strange for me. It's not a system that is making much sense, to be honest. Okay, the Emperor, yes, definitely, because that's Aries, and Aries is associated with fire, so I understand that one. The Magician is Mercury. Alright, I'm having trouble. Okay, I'm having trouble with that. I'm going to have to look deeper into that, because it's not sort of making much sense unless it's the element that's associated with the star sign, which is possibly what that is. So, I mean, like the Emperor is Aries, so that is fire. And the Sun, that makes sense. The Lovers is Gemini. I don't know, I'm really stumped, to be honest, on that. Okay, so what they're saying here is how elements affect each other. So for instance, if you have fire and water together, well, that's either going to make steam, isn't it? If you put fire and water together, the water is going to douse the fire. So any ideas maybe that the fire, inspiration that the fire has, then the water would actually go, yeah, but have you thought of this, you know? So that's sort of, I think, how that would work. And there's an illustration here of how they've used it in a spread. So according to this system here, so swords would be air, because it's a suit of air. They've got the Hermit as earth, and then the Five of Pentacles, well, that's earth, so 2 earths and 1 water. So how those elements interact. So if you put a lot of water onto earth, then it will make the plants grow, won't it? Or too much water on earth will drown everything. So yeah, that's a different way of looking at a spread, I would imagine. Okay, anyway, let's get off that. So we have the 2 of Pentacles and the dude with the silly hat. That looks quite phallic, to be honest. What does he say about the high hat? The tall hat on the young man's head suggests a lack of seriousness. I mean, it's puzzling, isn't it? What the heck's that hat about? I've not seen or read or heard anything that explains why that hat is so tall. Was it something back in the day? Is it a fashion statement? Or is it just proud? Is he just standing proud? Anyway, back to the magazine. So the card in detail. Rather than imposing his will and desire, he meets opportunities as they come his way and follows impulse. To me, it's always up and down, isn't it? The ups and downs of life. I don't know. So we've got the Lemniscate here. So we're in a balancing act, definitely, with the waves going up and down. Anyway, opposites attract, the rhythm of life. Is this what they're saying here? Duality and inconstancy. So life isn't ever constant, is it? There's always ups and downs. Opposites attract. We have some keywords. We have meanings in different situations, so personal life, divination, psyche and soul, what the card shows us. So a description of the card, is it? No, it's a small paragraph on what the card is saying to us. We have some questions here we can journal about. What are you juggling at the moment? Is it work and play? We have some different cards. A beautiful Klimt. We cannot be children forever. We must rise to our responsibilities. See, different sort of message really when we get to the Klimt card. With the angels it says games will lead to learning, but not all games will help us to grow. Worth. Opposing ideas can be complementary. A healthy rivalry stimulates creativity. So different decks have different messages, if you like, for the same card, which I think is why people like collecting decks, really, because Rider-Waite-Smith meaning is for Rider-Waite-Smith cards, and these are, a lot of them follow the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition but slightly varied, so it gives a different aspect to it, really. I mean, this one here, the Pagan Tarot, represents running or being late. So completely different sort of message, really. So maybe we just have to learn each tarot deck as we have them. So what else have we got? So yes, so we can journal with these questions, or there's something we can ask when they appear in the spread. The lesson of the card, the correlation. So this is, okay, this is the Golden Dawn associations. It's number 2 because obviously it's the 2 of Pentacles. The Sephirah is Chokhmah, which is wisdom. The element is earth because it's a Pentacles card. The planet they've associated is Jupiter. The sign is Capricorn, and it's called the Lord of Harmonious Change. So that's the Golden Dawn system. So presumably one would think this is the Golden Dawn system as well, which is, it's really, I'm sorry, it's really puzzling me. It really is. Anyway, I will delve deeper into that in my studies. Okay, so we have Los Garabeo. The Runic Tarot comes with part 48, 49. We have the Fae Tarot, the Pagan Tarot with 54 and 55, the Shaman Tarot, Universal Celtic, or Celtic, however you want to say that, which we've already had in 16 and 17. We've got Tarot of the Dark Grimoire and Manga Tarot, which comes with 46 and 47. We have a tarot spread. So what's this one? This is about time. Timelines. That's interesting. So our first card. Okay, and then we go down. So we're going backwards in time and then forwards in time, I would think. We use the whole deck. So it's looking at lessons from the past and how the future is likely to play out. And it's in the form of an hourglass. So this is how to do it. There's an example reading and more on that example reading. So the card that's drawn, the keywords, and putting it together. There's no question for each position in the spread, so it's pretty free form, really. So the first card drawn was death, their essential meanings and the keywords, and how it relates to the question that's here. To play with that one. Okay, Tarot Deck Library is about the After Tarot itself. and concept behind it, same as the before tarot, which we had with 28 and 29, which I did a side by side here. So the after tarot is a few seconds or minutes after the moment we are used to seeing in a traditional deck. So we've got an example here, which is that Eight of Cups. Finders keepers. The Eight of Cups shows a woman finding the cups abandoned by the man. Okay, so the man is not walking away from their relationship, as I first thought, but she's found them. Okay. We ought to interpret different, don't we? Anyway, so the author of both the After and Before Tarot decks is Corinne Kenner. Corinne Kenner. Okay, 1 second. Let me just pause the video. Okay, so this is Corinne Kenner's book that I use called Tarot and Astrology. And as it says, it's Tarot and Astrology, and it goes through the decans in order. So at the moment we're on the Two of Cups. I'll show you it goes. So this Two of Cups is Venus in Cancer. It tells you when it is and then all about it. The card, Kabbalah, so Chokmah in Bria. The first decan of Cancer falls between June 21st and July 1st, which is now. Yeah, so it's quite useful in doing the decan work. But yeah, that's the author there, Corinne Kenner, who's the author of this deck. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I presume, actually, because the artwork is different people, I presume that Corinne Kenner is the one that's done the guidebook that comes with the After Tarot. I presume you can buy the After Tarot with its own guidebook, which we don't get a guidebook in these offerings, do we? This is what we get here. So how does the After Tarot compare to a standard tarot? Let's find an example. Okay, I was just looking at the Hermit. It says, spiritual concerns. You live in a world apart from the ordinary. While you like to seclude yourself, you don't mind being found. You'll gladly share your wisdom with others. So it doesn't actually refer to that black dog at all, which I thought it might. So something I'm going to have to read through. Some more on the background to the deck. And then we have some minor arcana interpretations. So let's have a little look at that Four of Pentacles, because I like that. Yeah, there it is. The miser clinging to his wealth and isolating himself. You can't take it with you. Exactly what I said. You can't take it with you. No suitcase on a hearse. This Ten of Swords. I've just done that in the my last decan video that I uploaded, was the Ten of Swords. It says, suffering, cowards die 1,000 deaths, but heroes die but once. That's a famous quote, isn't it? You know where all the bodies are buried. Okay. Okay, visual reference to the After Tarot. Practice makes perfect. Where to go to practice in this magazine. And then a preview of the next. So let's now have a look at the next one. I'll go a bit quicker actually. I think I'm taking quite a bit of time here. Okay, so here we are. Let's move this book out of the way. After Tarot. So we have our Page of Cups, and the fish has decided to escape the cup. I'm out of here. Salamander in the Ace of Wands. Okay, reading the tarot, going deeper. So what do we have here? Several ways to make tarot readings more profound. So the wrong question. So when the cards that you pull don't have any bearing on the question asked and why. The querent actually not asking the question because they're shy or embarrassed. And rephrasing a question. Or looking at what their querent is saying and then phrasing it in a way that actually makes sense for the querent. An in-depth analysis because of limitations of one's point of view. This is quite an interesting article actually. Yeah, I'll go a bit deeper into that, I think. So adapting the spread to the query's real question, they could choose 3 cards, place them to one side of the layout. The first card reveals why this question is important, the second what you really want to know, and what action you can take. Yeah, I think I have to read this a bit and see how that aligns. So here we've got our Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. And our card in detail, 3 of Pentacles, so our collaboration card. What is this dude's eyes doing? I have never noticed that before. Look at that. Look at those eyes. Oh, they're scary. Anyway, power of creative collaboration, keywords, what it's about, the symbols. Is it a pedestal? The artisan stands on a bench and concentrates on his work. See, I've read somewhere about that pedestal being, although he is a lower class, as in, you know, in the class structure, so these guys here are richer than he is a working man, so normally they would be above him in station, but because he has got the skills to actually bring forward their vision, then for this amount of time he is actually raised in stature above these 2 guys. Isn't that interesting? I love delving deep into cards. Okay, thematic meaning, so your personal life, divination, psyche and soul, what the card shows us, and then examples from other decks. Let's look at Klimt. You cannot capture music, but you can make it a gift to others. So it's, yeah, like I say, you know, different sort of interpretations for the same card, depending on the deck. So we have some questions here. Do you still feel the need to prove yourself? Okay, so we've got correlations here with the Golden Dawn and the Tree of Life. We have traditional meanings, upright and reversed, which we have in every issue of the magazine. Then we've got, so what have we got? We've got Worth, the Angels and Klimt, like in the last magazine. And here we have Lo Scarabeo. We have Pagan Tarot, we have Nefertari, Pre-Raphaelite, Shaman, Tarot of the Dark Grimoire, the Fae Tarot, and Tarot of the White Cat. So we've had that one already, and to come we have the Shaman Tarot's coming and the Pagan Tarot's coming as well. A little preview there of what we're getting. Oh, we've got another tarot spread, and this is alternate timelines. Parallel timelines. Oh, so if you've got 2 choices, there's that choice and that choice, perhaps. So this is the initial question, using the whole deck. Instructions, synthesis, and an example reading here. Meanings of the draw cards. So we've got quite in depth with the example reading, which is always helpful, isn't it? Oh, interpreting dreams. So this is that Tarot of 78 Doors. I really like that deck. That's one I've worked with since we got it in the magazine, and it's I really do like that deck. And that's a completely different take, really, isn't it, on what we would normally see in a 7 of Cups, with the cups in the sky, and this is actually in the dream world. Normally we see them up here like this, and this is actually in the dream world. Somebody is probably talking about keeping a dream diary, I would imagine, and then analysing those dreams. And then we have some history. So we're back to Jean-Baptiste Alliot, or otherwise known as Italia. So I like to call himself, and he did produce his own deck. I think it was one of the very first decks. This is from etchings, stencil etchings, and yeah, in French. First published in 1791. So some more about the history there. And we have a visual reference to the minors in the After Tarot. Practice makes perfect. And then a preview of what's coming. And this is so exciting. We have the Book of Thoth. I have never seen this deck. It looks a very antique sort of imagery. If we look there. Wow. I'm really looking forward to this one. I wonder if it's a pip deck or an illustrated deck. Keen to find out. Normally the older decks are pip decks, aren't they? Yeah, I can't really tell from those illustrations. Anyway, we get the storage box that comes with it. And then we get our next two Golden Art Nouveau cards, which is the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles. Nice. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too laborious. Actually, it's probably ending up quite a long video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that anyway, my little take on it, my little ruminations if you like. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, bye friends, bye.